Hey, folks, it's a man once again. Now, like I said before, this is considered one of the best horror films, scariest horror films of all time. To be honest, I'm not a fan of it. I feel it's overrated. I think it's technically well made. I think the performances, especially by Ellen Burstyn and Jason Miller, are good. But I just found it boring, and I never got scared of it. Whether when I first saw it when I was like 14, 15 years old, and when I see it today, I just. But And now this is my favorite one. I love this film. I have no problems with this film, which I'll get into. I love Exorcist 3. This is definitely the worst one. Because this is not even... This is goofy. It's not that well acted. You wonder what the fuck drugs they were on when they made it. And there's some goofy ass shit. And I know Linda Blair said that it was a good script, but it kept getting changed and changed and changed throughout the making of the film. She said that Richard Burton was sober at the beginning, and then throughout the film he got drunk. It's too bad there's not a documentary on this, because it'd actually be interesting to find out what the fuck happened with this movie. And that scene there is another one of those goofy fucking scenes of it. I mean, the cast, you got Linda Blair coming back. You got Richard Burton. You got Louise Fletcher, who was in One Flew Over the Cuckoo's Nest. Max von Sydow returns. You got James Earl Jones. So you got a pretty decent cast. And John Boorman, this is the guy who did Deliverance, which I'm not a fan of Deliverance. To be honest, I think Southern Comfort and Rituals are better movies than Deliverance. I've never been a fan of Deliverance. Zardoz, he directed Zardoz, I think, before this movie. Could be wrong. But, he directed a movie that the fucking talking head says or a stone head talks and says the penis is evil, the gun is good. And you give that guy a sequel to this. Exorcist 2, The Heretic. And apparently a funny story that first saw William Peter Blatty, who wrote the novel of the first film and went on to direct this film. Apparently he saw this film, he was laughing his ass off, and then William Friedkin had another story that people who saw this film, they got so pissed and throwing shit at the screen. The motherfuckers who made this movie are in the theater, get them! And they chased some of the studio officials or something. See, that's why you need a documentary on this one. Fucking hell. This fucking movie. To be honest, I think the trailer is more exciting than the movie. Ennio Morricone does the score, and you're like... I don't mind the beat that you... Like, if you watch the trailer, I don't mind the beat, but it's the... Na, 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 na. But the actual beat, I don't mind. It's that... It's silly. This is such a silly, goofy as fuck movie. That's why it gets a 3 point something. I'm not even the biggest fan of this movie. I love The Exorcist 3 more than this. But at least this is well acted and it's a technically well made film. This one, I can't even say that. It's goofy as shit. I think Martin Scorsese or someone is a fan of this movie. And to each their own. But the beginning of the film, you have this, like this moaning and screaming that makes you want to go, shut the fuck up. Like, if I did that, by now you're annoyed. If I kept, this shit is how it starts. You don't start your movie by someone going, ay, 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 yo, ah. Hell, you even can see that this fucking DVD holder is broken. It doesn't fucking hold the shit. And the fucking disc is scratched. It played, but I didn't give a fuck. I mean, so other than the screaming and moaning that wants you to tell the viewer, to tell the movie to shut the fuck up. Richard Burton, which at times it does seem like maybe he's trying to be sober, but then he's kind of drunk. He's doing exorcism with this girl. Things go awry. Girl lights herself on fire. And that's the scene that you see here. And that looks goofy. Because that girl is still framed. She looks like the girl from Sleepaway Camp. Seriously, at the end of Sleepaway Camp, has the same fucking look as this girl. Just imagine a dick, hair, and a knife. It's Felissa Rose. Or, you know, the body double with the mask for Felissa Rose at Sleepaway Camp. Just take away the dick and the hair and light it on fire, and there you go. That's this movie. And Sleepaway Camp is a better movie than this. And it looks ridiculous. It's supposed to be, like, disturbing. But a girl going, well, what the hell is the look like? It's like this. I think like this and like I was like, oh. So you do that, and I'm like, any minute now, cue the Sleepaway music. Da, da, da. Like, okay, oh my god, we're in trouble. I will admit, this is one of those films that when I first saw it, I could not get through it. Way back in the day, I could not get through this movie, and I gave up. And then the first time I saw this movie all the way through, I saw it with my friend Mike and Effrey, and actually on the OCP TV, he uploaded the commentary, and this is like the first time me and my friends were watching it, and I didn't know what the hell to say. I'm like, John Boorman, fucking boredom, and Louise Fletcher, and Linda Beware, Richard Button, Max von Sydow. Literally just trying to make up any stupid name in the book to keep me awake while watching it, because the next, like, that scene, which is supposed to be disturbing, it suddenly cuts to Linda Blair tap dancing. We have tap dancing in the movie for some reason. And Regan, her mom is away somewhere, and she is in this institute. And Louise Fletcher is this doctor who I think maybe they wanted a man in the casting, but they cast Louise. I don't mind Louise Fletcher as an actress. I just think the dialogue she's given, and Richard Burton is not a bad actor, but he must have known this was shitty. That's why he got drunk during it. Maybe it was a good script, and then they got fucked up while making it. It can happen. But, like, she has this thing called a synchronizer. It's like these lights that boom, boom, boom. It's like hypnosis that also links brain waves together. And you're like, this is some pretty silly shit. I think that's when the audience, when they watch it for the first time, especially then, they're like, holy shit, a synchronizer that's literally going boom, boom. And anyone gets these things on them, they're like, it's like waiting for the song, oh, let's get stoned. Watching people do that for minutes on end is not entertaining. Movie. Watching people going, that's not entertaining. I don't know what the fuck John Boorman thought. I don't know what he was thinking. To me, he's not that great of a director. I'm not a fan of Deliverance. And Excalibur was okay. It was there. But he's one of those directors I'm not really a big fan of. This movie sucked. Zardoz is a fucking goof troop. of a movie, and this film is just silly and boring. You think, well, it's silly, you laugh at. Yeah, but it's not enough. It's not like Silent Night, Deadly Night 2 or Troll 2. This is like, it's silly, goofy shit, but it's also a bore and a chore to sit through. Which, when you watch the trailer, you're not going to think it's such a boring movie. But they put everything in that movie is in the trailer. That's one of those trailers that every single thing within the movie is in the trailer. If you see the trailer, you saw the entire movie. And all the crazy fucked up shit in the movie. But Richard Burton is hired to investigate the death of Father Merrin, which happened in the first movie. And he gets there, and Louise Fletcher is with Regan, and they're in the synchronizer, and go, whoa, whoa. It'd be funnier if you had the actors just say that. Like, literally, forget the light. Just have the actors go, whoa, whoa. Like that Days Lit, whoa, whoa, whoa. Oh god, I'm making myself laugh. How pathetic. But I don't know what the fuck do you say? Louise Fletcher, she lit stoned, and then Richard Burton lit stoned, or like he's trying to get sober again because they need to get Louise Fletcher back after the synchronizer brainwave something goes wrong, and he goes in, he sees the death of Father Merrin from back in the day, and another person playing the possessed Regan, because Linda Blair was not going to put on the makeup again, so they hired someone else to do it, and you could tell that there's a difference. Like, that's not Linda Blair. I could tell it wasn't Linda Blair, even with all the makeup on it. And about Linda Blair's on one side trying to wake up Louise Fletcher, and then the demons on the other side, like playing with Louise Fletcher's heart. And Richard Burton only says like one thing and then snaps out of it. Later on, Richard Burton gets a picture that he's on fire, and then he's like, there's a fire, and yeah, there's a fire at the institution. Linda Blair writing has this weird dream of locusts, and Mets found Sydow, and you have the up close of the locust, and then you have a locust behind a grasshopper flying. Grasshopper point of view of the locust, great. You almost staring at the fucking grasshopper's ass. Great. Want to go a little bit further. And then they're in this weird dream. She almost walks off the edge. Which it looks like she's in a pretty nice place with a great view. I don't know what the Institute's paying, but I wish give me that money. Louise Fletcher, she doesn't have much of it. She has no character. I was complaining a little bit, but Ellen Burstyn has more of a character than in the first film than Louise Fletcher. Like, she's just there to put on the synchronizer thing or ask weird questions like, don't you ever need a woman, father? And Richard Burton says, yes. And it's like such an awkward conversation. Like, she just asks a priest, she might as well ask him, do you want me to sit on your face, father? Richard Burton go, yes. That'd be less awkward than this conversation they had. But, I mean, you get little flashbacks. I mean, there was this kid who, I guess the village thought he said he had powers. I think he was supposed to stop the locust, but he gets possessed by Pazuzu. Which, I read somewhere that, well, Pazuzu is mentioned in the first film. I don't remember ever hearing that word in this movie. Maybe it flipped by me, or maybe they only said it once, and they realized you shouldn't say that all the time because it sounds ridiculous, but I don't remember it saying there. Here they say it 2, 3, 4 dozen times. Pazuzu, Pazuzu. When you keep saying Pazuzu, it's fucking ridiculous. It's fucking silly. It's fucking stupid. If you try to make a serious horror film that's supposed to be scary, don't use a word like Pazuzu dozens of fucking times. And then they have another stupid word, which I'll get into. But Pazuzu is a stupid word. Don't fucking use it. And more flashbacks. Oh, the spirits of the air. What's that? Is the spirit in the sky? And then you have more of that moaning yell. Oh, yeah, 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 yeah. And then you have the Caddyshack yell. What I mean by that? Na 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 na. Oh, is Chevy Chase anywhere around here teaching someone how to golf? Na 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 na. That's fucking annoying. That's fucking irritating. Na 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 na. Should just had Chevy Chase and Bill Murray just come in. That could only help the movie. Na 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 na. And then the flashback of Matt von Sydow climbing up, and this guy falls down between the cliffs. It's funny as shit because you can clearly tell he's on a wire. He's like, oh, like, and the body's so rigid, like, oh, it's like the Plinko and Price is Right. Is that what it's called? The Plinko, like, you know, the chips, like, you know, to see if you get the best prize money and the Price is Right. I'm like, fuck. For this movie, just the price is wrong, bitch. Jesus Christ. You got Pazuzu's, you got this goofy looking fucking guy fall between the cliffs, and then he gets stuck. And Father Marin saved that boy. He performed an exorcism, and I guess this boy was a healer type. And I'm jumping ahead, but I guess Pazuzu is possessing people who are healers. Like the girl who died at the beginning was one. And Richard Burton failed. But then that boy in Africa that Matt von Sydow saved. And then Raiden also has a certain power. Because later on, like the one scene I liked in the movie. Let's see. I'll wait for that. What? I talk about. Oh my god. I just remember the Richard Burton says a stupid line where, so, what the fuck was it? Share my wings. Or something like, the demon telling him to share my wings. I'm like, what? Chicken wings? Buffalo wings? I like buffalo wings. I'm not going to share. And why the fuck would the demon share her wings to this guy to lead him to the one guy who might be able to help him stop it? Share my wings and follow me so I can get to this guy, one guy that could help you out. Why would the demon help out this person who could try to stop it? Share my wings so I can get you to someone who's going to help you stop me. It's like a drug dealer bringing a witness to a cop and saying, here you go. Have fun with the witness. And more fucking stupid screaming than, oh, yeah, and Caddyshack shit. No. And then James Earl Jones appears and roars, and a fucking leopard jumps out. And then Richard Burton gets out of the synchronizer and he's like, a leopard left that, he fucking went after me. If I want to see that shit, I'll see Serpent the Rainbow, which did the shit better. The one scene I liked is when Linda Blair is helping this autistic girl. Because Linda Blair, I'm not going to blame her acting. The fucking script, the dialogue, didn't help her much. Because in a moment like this, I thought she did well. And I thought the girl that they had did a good job as well. It's an autistic girl. They found a very nice girl. She's very sweet. And she's like withdrawn. She's talking about how I'm withdrawn. I can't talk. Now, when you have a kid who stutters, that can get annoying. Look at Halloween 5. Halloween 5 did that shit wrong. But here, it was the right amount of time, and the Regan character helped her out, and she was very nice and courteous to the girl, and the girl was sweet, and she wasn't annoying. And I think she actually did fine for the little role she had. And she's like, you can hear me? But I thought the acting was fine in that scene. I thought it was sweet. I thought it was, that's the one scene I liked in the movie. I thought it was a nice, sweet little scene between Radiant and this girl who's autistic, and now she can talk, and her mother's like, oh my god, you can talk. That was a good scene. And it's to show that she has a certain power type of thing. And they're like, what do you do? It's like, I don't know, I just talked to her. I just talked to her. And that's like the one good scene in the movie. What the hell? I mean... But of course, even that scene they fuck up. Because she's like, you know why I'm here? And the little girl goes, why? I was possessed by a demon. So Linda Blair tells the little girl that she was possessed by a demon. Why the fuck would you tell that to a little girl who's like trying to talk? Yeah, that would not freak a little girl out saying, I was possessed by a demon. How you doing, little girl? How you doing? And then pretty much Richard Burton wants to get to Africa to talk to the little kid that Ms. Van Sydow saved, who is alive, an adult now. And the name is Kokumo. And that's the other name that I thought was stupid. Oh, Grant, that might be, I'm sure that's a real name that people use. But when you have someone say Kokumo a dozen times, it sounds silly. And anytime I hear it, I think of Kokomo, the Beach Boys song for fucking Cocktail with Tom Cruise. Hey, I wanna lay a Bermuda, Ohana, hey, a pretty mama, Yaro, Burrito. Really down in Kokomo, dancing all down, way down in Kokomo. Anytime I hear, and you find out this is James Earl Jones' character, anytime I hear his name, I think of Beach Boys, Kokomo, and Cocktail. And I'd rather fucking, hey, I haven't seen Cocktail in like decades. Let me pop in Cocktail. Oh, wait, I don't have it. I'll find it on somewhere online to watch. Watch that instead of this shit. He goes to Africa, he gets stoned, and then Linda Blair's tap dancing, she can feel the stones herself. And Ned Beatty, who is in Deliverance that John Boorman directed, I'm like, wow, the guy directed you to getting raped, and you worked with him again. And I think John Voight was in talks to play the Richard Burton character, but I think John Voight ultimately turned it down. But I don't know if anybody would have worked with the fucking script they came out with, ultimately. And Ned Beatty's there for nothing role, pretty much there, and like this little weird scene where you see Ned Beatty tearing across, like on his back like this for these nuns. And then, hey, I'll give you a ride, and gives Richard Burton a ride on his plane to this place called Jeptai. And that's all Ned Beatty's in the film. And I'm like, wow, what a waste of time for Ned Beatty. And then pretty much Linda Blair's asleep, and then she wakes up, and then she's in a trance, and Richard Burton, they're both saying Kokumo, 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 Kokumo. Looking stoned. Like, Kokumo. And then she's laying down. Kokumo. 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 Linda Blair and Richard Burton are both looking stoned with a dead air, dead eye fucking state of a stare and going, Kokumo. Kokumo. And the director actually thought this was worth a shit. He actually thought this wasn't silly shit. This wasn't stupid shit. And that it wasn't boring shit. No matter what you add it up, it's shit. And then finds James Earl Jones spitting fruit out of his mouth with this weird grasshopper headdress and says, you don't have faith, take your leap of faith. Richard Burton does, stabs his foot, falls down, wakes up, and there's James Earl Jones, who's really a doctor, who is studying, that right there at the far end, who is studying locusts. And really, the whole trip was worthless. Ideas only so that he could say, he could show him this good locust. This is the good locust. So that she will go around and help us so that the locusts aren't too bad. I'm like, wow, that's it? Great. And that the synchronizer again, I'm getting tired of this fucking synchronizer. You know how you do hypnosis well? Nightmare on Elm Street Part 3. You know, the thing, poop, poop. That's how you do hypnosis well. There you go. I think that came out after this, but that did it better than this shit. It did. The Institute, people who are could be considered special. You know, hypnosis, a doctor. Nightmare on Elm Street 3 did that shit better. And Freddy, in a way, is a demon, if you think about it. And pretty much Father Merrin tells Richard Burton that Pazuzu's here to destroy goodness. I'm going to trust her to you. But after saying all that, Richard Burton is pretty much possessed. And Linda Blair follows him to this train. While Louise Fletcher and the other girl, this other girl who I think she was in the first film, follows by plane. And this entire scene is way too fucking long. Just like this rant. It's way too fucking long. It just takes like 10 fucking minutes, and all it is Linda Blair, Richard Burton being, and Linda Blair sitting on a fucking on a train, or before that following Richard Burton, and then Louise Fletcher and them stop in, and then get on the plane, and the plane goes, huh, and then Louise Fletcher and them go, huh, and then keep going until they get to the house in the first movie. Long, drawn out as fuck scene. Locusts fly in, hit Richard Burton in the face. Louise Fletcher's car gets out of control and hits the gate in front of the house. Louise Fletcher gets trapped, and the girl, I guess she's possessed by Pazuzu, or she's fucked up by Pazuzu, lights herself on fire. Truthfully, the whole fucking scene was pointless. In fact, having Louise Fletcher there was fucking pointless because it didn't fucking matter. They don't do anything. And then there's an evil Regan, and Richard Burton is under the influence, and he keeps saying, the wings are brushing me. The wings are brushing me. The wings are brushing me. Floss your ass. Maybe get those wings out so they stop brushing you. Hey, I smell alcohol. Brush your fucking teeth then. Richard Burton. That's part of the ending. And pretty much, he keeps saying the wings are brushing me, and then all the good Regan says is, the good locust. And the house starts breaking apart, and Richard Burton is finally straight thinking. He's unpossessed, and he's just beating the shit out of the evil Regan while the whole house breaks apart, rips the heart out, which isn't as gory as it sounds. And then Linda Blair gets out, and I swear to God, apparently back in Africa when Mads von Sydow was helping the boy, he was doing this thing to try to ward off the locusts, but it failed. He got possessed because he has a power, and now these people who are being fucked with have powers. Linda Blair is supposed to be doing the same thing, but she looks like this. Looks like she's fist pumping the air. It's like just find some rock song and go. You've been thunderstruck. Thunderstruck. She just looks like she's just fist pumping, like, rock on, Locust, go kick some ass. Kick his ass, see bad. But then the house is fucked up, and the good Regan and Richard Burton fuck off. Louise Fletcher's there to talk to the cops, and then for some fucking reason, the synchronizer under her face. Boop, boop. Whoop. And I'm like, what? Are you trying to do what they tried to do in Total Recall, where it makes you think it's a dream or not? Which makes no fucking sense to do that. Like, what's the point of the synchronizer thing? That she's still linked up? Brainwave style? What's the fucking point? Since like this movie, there's no fucking point! There's no goddamn point to this fucking movie. None. There's no goddamn point to it. I feel I want to be like Stallone and Demolition Man. Just fucking curse up his fucking storm. Dip brain, lip dip, piece of shit, pain in the ass, motherfucker. So much for the 3 Seychelles. And wipe my ass with this fucking movie. Yeah, I'm not a big fan of this movie. I'm still not. But there's good notes to it. That film is a total complete piece of jizz on top of a piece of shit. Yeah, that's gross. That's more fucking disturbing than anything in that fucking movie. That movie's a joke. It's silly. It's goofy. James Earl Jones yelling and a fucking leopard and having a grasshopper fucking headdress. Synchronizers that people look stoned. Pazuzu, and Kokomo. Go to Kokomo with Tom Cruise. Make some cocktails, you know. Way down in Kokomo. This fucking movie got me thinking of Cocktail. I don't even know if that's a bad thing because I don't remember the movie. I remember that bit though. I think Elizabeth Shue and the guy from FX and Tom Cruise was in it, and he did things in the bar with his. I'd rather fucking Exorcist 2. Fletcher Boogaloo is a piece of shit. What more do I got? It's fucking Pazuzu. Or Caddyshack, evil Caddyshack shit. Fuck.